Hey, Neil Howe back again here from the 30 days of live videos together with my partner Craig Williams. He's doing these videos every day too. Just giving you a little bit of information of what we do and how we help our clients. Well, today the question is, so you want to write a book. 85% of the population, which is almost everybody, says that at some point in their life they want to write a book. But only 3-4% maybe actually ever get around to it. Now, why is that? Is it because it's that hard? Hey, Chris, Alex, thanks for joining. To get all your ideas out of your head and to get it on paper is certainly a process, but, it's not because you don't know what you're talking about. It's just because you don't know how to go through that process. So let's talk about some of the different kinds of books that you can do. Here's one that I think is great. 47 Top Strategies. This is a very simple book of just basically it's like one little page a day with one tip. This is like a tips book or a top strategies book. Very easy to do, especially if you're in an industry where there's lots of different players, like something like the real estate industry, for example. You might have a mortgage broker, a real estate agent, your broker, your insurance, your appraisers. There's tons of people all around the real estate industry that have some advice, and people need to know, like home buyers need to know all these different kinds of things. So if you can get together, if you're that center of influence and you can get together with all these people in your market and get them to do one tip each in a book like this and draw it together and put, a practical, physical version of it, it's great instead of a business card to hand out to clients. And if, you have 15, 30 people all sharing this book to prospects, who are they going to go to when they need an appraiser? They're going to go to whoever's in this book. Who are they going to go to when they need insurance or an inspection? They're going to go to whoever's in the book. So it's a great referral source to have a tips book like that. Maybe you have a doctor's office or an attorney's office or something like that, and you really want to highlight people, just in your office. It's a small book. It's nothing that big. We've got 4 authors here. It's a great book just to highlight the people in your office, all in the same industry. And this is around one subject as well, which this one is making retirement simple. Just different tips and advice that you can give before actually dealing with the people that you want to be working with. It's great to send out there. You can send it in the mail if people are interested in your services. You can send it out there. I'm not watching the Celtic game. I gave up after 3, Chris. It's embarrassing at 6 right now. Men against boys, as was said at the weekend. Anyway, getting back to that, it's great to hand out. It's something very simple. Doesn't cost too much. Maybe probably about $3 to hand out. But it's going to be so much better in the business card. They're not going to throw it away, and they're always going to come back to you and your advice when they are looking and when they're ready to make that buying decision. Now, if you want a little bit more authority, maybe you want to do your own book. This is a book that I did. This is the first one that I did, but it's based around like one problem, one solution. So the problem here is, how do you get more authority in your market? So, this is one person book. Again, it doesn't have to be a 300-page one. This is just over 100 pages. But it's solving a very specific problem in the market, which is, how do you stand out from the competition and, get people to follow you and to know who you are so you're not obscure. You want to get your own book out. That gives you instant credibility, especially, if you're talking about some of the major problems in your niche. Or maybe, you just want to get to a multi-author book like this. There's 13 different people in this book. Each person has their own chapter and they're not necessarily talking about all the same industry, but they're just giving business advice. This is a general book, but great again, because each one of these authors is going to pass out or sell hundreds of these books, so it's going to get your name passed out to hundreds of different people. So there's lots of different kinds of books that you can write. The other stumbling block for many people is just how to start. What do you need to do to start? People will sit down with a blank piece of paper and just start writing, and that's not the way to do it. That's not a good way at all to write a book. It's a good way to have writer's block, but not a good way to start a book. So a great way is, like, I'm on this website right here right now. It's called Storybase, and it's a great way to search what people are actually looking for online. So I put in how to write a book, and just in the US alone, there's 3,400 different questions all around how to write a book, and that's searched for it's 1.1 million times in a year. So you can see people want to know how to write a book. They want to know how to go about writing a book, and there's tons of questions around it. Now, whatever your industry is as well, in real estate, sticking to that example I gave earlier, maybe people want to know how to buy a home for the first time. That's, a big one, definitely. If you're not experienced in buying homes, or you haven't done it before, you want to make sure you're doing everything correctly. And there's a lot of things to think about, so there's a lot of questions. If you can put a book together that answers a lot of these different questions, it's going to be a great book, and it's going to be an in-demand book as well. So, a site like storybase.com is a great place to go to find out what kind of questions people in your market are asking. There's also, if you have on your website, the frequently asked questions. If you've been in business for a long time, the same questions come up over and over again. Those are the things that people want to know about, so are great things to put in a book. Another great resource is Amazon.com. Amazon, there's sticking with real estate. You pick one specific section within real estate. Maybe it's investing this time. You go and you search on Amazon, how to get started with real estate investing. Well, it's going to bring back a bunch of books that are already written about real estate investing, and all you have to do is flick through. It gives you the intro and the chapters, and each one of those chapters is probably a question that you should be able to answer if that is your market. But it gives you a great idea. By the time you've gone through about 10 of these books and looked at some of the reviews and the comments and the intros and everything, you should have a great idea of how to outline your own book. Another way to do that, another way to kind of get started if you don't go through that whole process, is if you do videos like this, or if you do blogging or write articles, anything like that, and you've done it quite a lot, you can go to those articles, you can get them transcribed for a penny or two per word, and just get the transcriptions and put them all together, maybe sort them out a little bit. But you can put a book together that way that you can take and you can edit, but it's something that you don't have to start with a blank sheet of paper. You've already got tons of content written, so it's a great way to start and get something on paper. Now, I'm going to burst a few bubbles right here. Unfortunately, only about 10% of people that actually get your book in their hands are going to read it. So everybody wants to try and create that masterpiece that's just, the best book that they could ever write. But the real value of having a book is sharing your authority and credibility. And like I said, maybe 10% will actually read it. So yes, you want to put quality content in it, but more important is just to get it done and get it out there. You're going to make a lot more money and have a lot more value by being the credible author of a book than you are, creating a masterpiece. Paul, I know I'm absolutely embarrassed. Men against boys, like I was said on the weekend. 6-0 to Celtic got beat by Barcelona, and it's not over yet. That's pretty disappointing. Anyway, so that is my tip for today is just, 85% of people want to write a book, but they don't know where to start. Just use some of these ideas that I've given you. Make sure you know what kind of book that you want to write. They all have value. Being an author and a best-selling author is the ultimate goal, to share that credibility with your clients. Now, like I said, getting content out of your head and on paper is a great way to start. So, I'm offering you the opportunity to talk about your business, to answer some of those questions that people have about your business in an authority interview with me. You go to neilhowe.co, that's neilhowe.co. Fill in a short survey there and we can get you on the schedule for an interview. Done a few great interviews this week already. So you go there, fill out the survey, and once you get that piece of content back, you can have it transcribed and you can have a chapter ready almost for your first book to contribute to a multi-author book. So that is it from me. Make sure you check out Craig Williams' video as well. And final reminder, The Profit is on tonight at 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Russell Brunson with ClickFunnels is going to be on there sharing just how a funnel is working in business and how creating a funnel for your business is going to create a lot more success. We'll even show you how to create a book funnel by giving your book away for free plus shipping, which is a great way to get your valuable content into somebody's hands and just have them pay for the shipping to cover the cost of the book. So check out The Profit tonight and I will see you again tomorrow.